Please let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
and to the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Moving on to verification of notice.
The meeting was duly noticed.
Thank you. Agenda item 3 is public comment. Is there anybody in the audience that would like to come up and speak? Okay. Hearing none, we will move on to approval of the minutes from our January 20th, 2026 meeting. I'll entertain any motions.
I'm good with it. I'll make a motion to approve January 20th minutes.
Okay, do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay. David seconded. All in, any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of approving the minutes of our January 20th, 2026 meeting, say aye.
All right.
Aye. Opposed? Okay. Agenda item is fire chief's report, but they have contacted me, and they are not going to be able to come tonight just because we had to reschedule our meeting. They already had other meetings in place. We'll move on to police report.
Good evening.
Hello.
I just have a few things to update you on. Last month, you know that we had several break-ins in the area. I'm sure you all heard about that, right? Oakland and Cambridge, as well as other communities in the area, Marshall and Waterloo. Apparently, Madison Police Department and Oregon Police Department have caught a subject that was involved in that. I don't know if you read an article about that or not. He was breaking into an Oregon car, and they caught him, and it turns out he had a bunch of stuff in there from some of our local burglaries here. So the good news is they're on it. So hopefully they get some items returned to them. Just a reminder to make sure everything's locked up, make sure your vehicles are secured. Don't leave anything laying in your car that they can see when they walk through. Just gives them an opportunity to look, to get into something there. So, Lieutenant Klemke is working with Alexipol to update our policies and procedures. I think he's well underway, and hopefully we're going to have that done sometime in April to May. It's been a long time. I think it's been 20 years since we've updated our policies and procedures, so long overdue. New hire, Chief Leonard has hired Dale Roten from the Fort Atkinson Police Department. Apparently before that he was with Jefferson County in the jail. He's going to work part-time for us. I think as soon as the board approves it, they're going to swear him in later this week. He has several years of experience and graduated from the academy in 22, so he's got a few years experience. I think he's currently working for Fort PD part-time as well yet. Additional updates, we have applied for a grant through Enbridge. We're waiting for that. Last year we got a grant from them, and we bought 2 defibrillators, one for the boat and one for the squad car. So we're hoping that we get another grant from them to update some other equipment that we need to fulfill. We also applied to the Cambridge Foundation, where we're waiting for them. Hopefully maybe we can utilize that money for some training and some other things that we need. Training opportunities for our department. Lake Mills Fire Department is going to come in and do CPR and defib training for us in the next month or so. Catch us up to date on that stuff. A couple of us are due, so they're going to come in and help us out. And of course, if you have any questions or comments, you're supposed to contact the chief here at the police department. So,
Great.
Any questions?
Thank you. Any
Okay.
questions?
Thanks, Scott. Yeah,
Great.
thanks.
Thank you.
Hopefully they catch the others too that were involved.
Yeah, I'm sure there's more of them.
Please keep us posted on that. Okay, moving on to discussion and possible action to hire Dale Broughton as new police officer. As was just mentioned, our police chief, Leonard, would like to hire somebody else.
I don't
And-
think we have that amended.
It's probably back at the back of, it would be the new stuff that I passed out.
It was on the table, Joey.
On your, that I brought out later. There should be, and if you don't have one, I'll run and make a copy of it quick. Laura's going to read it.
That's the only thing that's different.
That's only different.
Yeah,
That's the only one?
right. Yes, we just needed, we just got the request from Vanessa, and she had wanted us to add it so she can move forward. And she sent me today a letter
I did see that.
about the new hire. I'll read that in case you don't have that. Dale comes to us with previous law enforcement experience and will fit in very well with our officers. Dale previously worked for the Jefferson County Sheriff's Office and the City of Fort Atkinson Police Department. Dale completed the Law Enforcement Academy in May 2022 and held positions in the Jail Division and Patrol Division at Jefferson County's Sheriff's Office. Dale was hired at Fort Atkinson Police Department June 2024 through September 2025. Dale has desired to pursue a career as an attorney. Recently, Dale returned to Fort Atkinson Police Department as a part-time dispatcher. Dale is a Stoughton High School graduate and holds a bachelor's degree in criminal justice from UW Eau Claire. Dale is a certified law enforcement officer and attended the jail academy during her employment with the sheriff's office. Dale has a good knowledge of state law and will have no problem learning the town ordinances. I have known Dale to be active on patrol and complete through investigations. Dale is a competent officer and will require little training as she begins employment with the police department. Dale is willing to work a variety of hours in the police department to include days, nights, and weekends. I am requesting the board approval to add Dale Broughton as a police officer with the Town of Oakland Police Department. Respectfully submitted, Chief Leonard. So we do need additional officers, and having officers who are willing to work nights and weekends is really helpful for us. And we do have it in our budget to hire somebody else and have additional hours.
I'll make a motion that we approve the hiring of Dale Broughton.
A second?
Okay. We have a motion and a second. Any further comments?
I hope the weekends will include the lake patrol.
I don't know about the lake patrol or not. I will find that out and report back. But we do need people outside of the lake as well on the weekends during the year. So we're going back. All in favor of approving Dale Broughton as a new police hire, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. We will let Chief Leonard know that you can move forward with that hire. Discussion and possible action on requests by Busy Barnes for above quota liquor and beer license.
They are our first. You probably heard me talk a little bit about above quota liquor licenses for public places like Busy Barnes. This is the first above quota license that has been approved by the state of Wisconsin. They had a mountain of paperwork that they waded through that I helped them with, and they have been approved for this. A lady stopped by today from the Wisconsin Agricultural Tourism Association just to put in a little boost for their business, let us know that she feels that they would be very well suited for this. It's my recommendation that we do the above quota licenses for them. They were vetted by the state of Wisconsin, as I said, had a number of hoops to jump through. Per Laura, any above quota licenses that we issue will be done at the regular liquor license price. So rather than having to come up with 2 tiers or something like that, because we do have other wedding barns in the area, no one else has applied yet. They are the first, but we do have others in the area that may be applying soon.
How many can we give out?
Above quota, they have to go through the procedures through the state of Wisconsin, then the state of Wisconsin approves them. I have not been given a top limit that we can give out, but there's only a certain category of businesses that would actually qualify for the above quota.
I'm fine with it. I'll make a motion to approve the Busy Barnes above quota liquor license.
Okay, do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor on Busy Barnes for above quota liquor and beer license approval, say aye.
Aye?
Opposed? Okay. You will get your liquor license. Good luck to you.
Just a note on that, with the licenses, I found out after the fact, because I'm new to it, we have to publish in the paper for 3 days leading up to you being able to get the license. So with the approval, I will go ahead and issue it March 1st. That way we've got all the publishing done, you don't have any worries there, it'll be ready to go then. Come in and see me and we'll take care of you.
And Wendy, they'll have to do a renewal then in July too, right?
Yes,
So they'll
yes.
come back.
Yep, right. Then it'll just go on the standard.
Yeah.
This is just new to the situation,
Yep.
and they're aware that they have to come back
Okay,
then.
good, yeah.
Okay. Well, please feel free to reach out with any other questions. Okay. Thank you.
I'm ready to come out and try out that liquor license. Hope you guys have a little get-together there.
Are you going to have a renewal of your vows?
Ah.
Okay, moving on. Discussion of possible action on requests for garbage and recycling funds. So 2 residents had reached out to our clerks regarding their garbage and recycling notice on their tax bill. And one of the property owners recently had their house raised and returned their garbage and recycling bins. And the other one got assessed for garbage, but has a vacant lot, and so they do not have garbage service, recycling service. So that was confirmed by our Deputy Clerk, Laura Lowry. And so we're just here today to approve the refund of their garbage and recycling fees.
Is it total there at the bottom where it got cut off, or is it on top here?
Yeah, I don't know.
What's the refund?
I think in both cases it's 190.
Oh, there. Down here for that one. This one, it doesn't.
Is it
Yeah, it's on
190
both
twice?
ends. It's,
It's 2 different ones.
It's two
so these are
different
two
ones,
different,
Jim.
This
two
is
different
York
lots.
and this
But it's
is-
$190 if they have what? The one set, right?
Mhm.
So what's the motion need to read for the refund?
We just need a motion to approve their refund.
For the 190, or?
Yes, for each of the two properties.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the refund of $190.
Second.
Okay, any further comments?
And that's for each of the properties?
For each of the properties.
190 for each property?
Yes.
190 for each property?
Mhm.
Second.
Do you want the names in the motion or not?
You can do as presented, is fine. You guys have that in your packet, the tax bill, right? Or at least the tax summary report from the county?
Right.
Yep.
Okay. Okay, so then would be to refund the 190 to each of the 2 properties as presented in your packet. So we have a motion by Jimmy and a second by
By Tom.
Tom.
Yep.
Okay, all in favor of the refund, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, they will get that out to them. We'll move on to agenda item number 10, discussion and possible action on resolution 2026-02, adopting the fee schedule. So you have that before you. Laura Lowry will explain this to us.
Does everyone have it? It's the larger one.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll talk about the little one afterwards. Yep. So basically, the majority of municipalities in Wisconsin and across the United States are going to fee schedules for two reasons. One is you've got all your fees and your penalties in one place. Somebody asks you a question, does a information request, you can pull this up, you can send it out, instead of having to go through all your ordinances or resolutions to find out what they're asking about. And then the second thing is at budget time, if you're looking for new revenue or an increase in revenue, potential revenue increases, you have your fee schedule to look at rather than, again, hunting through all your ordinances or resolutions to find out where you have dollar amounts that you're charging. So I used a sample resolution that I was given by the Wisconsin Towns Association. You've got it there in front of you. There's a couple of spots I think that it's highlighted in red, and if not, I apologize for that. But if you go to the first paragraph that's labeled "Now Therefore Be It Resolved," so it's like the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th paragraph on the first page. I wasn't sure if you wanted it effective by a certain date, if you wanted it effective when it was actually posted. So there's that question. And then in the next paragraph as well, is it effective with the passage of the resolution, or is it taking effect on a certain month and day? So that's something you'll have to decide how you want to handle that. But basically, the first part of the resolution just lays it out where the town board has the ability to set the fee schedule, that they're wanting to create a fee schedule to cover all the fees and penalties and everything that they can set. And then the next page is where it starts out laying out all of the fees and penalties that the town currently has. So I went through all the ordinances and resolutions, and a couple of them are actually town board action rather than an ordinance or a resolution. And I laid it out in a way that is similar to the Code of Ordinances chapters that you approved a couple months ago. So the first section is license and permits. That's basically all the liquor licenses that you have. And in that, you can see for each line at the end of the verbiage before it goes into where the dollar amount is, there's a bracket section that shows you where I found that dollar amount. So pretty much all of this is going to be from Ordinance 53. So you can see your Reserve Class B, which is $10,000, your Class A fermented is $100, and they're all coming from your Ordinance 53. The one in there that Susan and I had talked about, but I don't think is actually being charged, is a background check fee. So that's like the third from the bottom in that section. I added it to the list, but at this point I don't think we're charging anything. So I don't know if that's something that you want to put on there and create a dollar amount for it, or if you want to just keep it off for now and possibly put that in as an amendment to this resolution in the future. And then there's two liquor licenses where if you get both of them, initially they're $10 a piece. It's the temporary ones, I think it is. Temporary Class B fermented malt beverage retailer's license, which is about the sixth one down in the list. And then the one right below that. They're each $10 a piece, but there is a note that if they're getting both of them, they get to only pay $5 a piece if they're doing both licenses at the same time.
Where does it say that?
There's, at the end of that, like that temporary Class B fermented malt beverage retail's license, ordinance number 53,
Yeah.
there's a number 1
Right,
in brackets, and then down below that whole section, there's a number 1.
but where does it say $5 only?
It
Down-
drops you down.
Oh, down here.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep, you're welcome. And then, so we go into the mobile homes, which is ordinance number 6, and in there it lays out the annual fee for the mobile homes. There's a minimum, there's a license transfer, there's a failure to report, and then there's a violation of their duties or committed prohibited act. The one question I had on those two, the failure to report and the violation line, it says after conviction, and it wasn't very clear on who convicted them. Was it the municipal court? Was it the state court? So that is something that you would want to consider if you want that as part of your fee schedule, or if you want to handle that in a different way. The dog license, you have your altered license and your unaltered license, and then there's a late fee, and then there's a kennel license. The altered license and the unaltered license is essentially, I think it's $3 and $5 according to the state, but the municipalities have the option to increase those costs, but they should be doing it by a resolution. The town of Oakland actually did it by a town board action, and I have that noted there, that the town board action was on 2/23/21. They increased that to 10 and 15. That's one reason why we have the next resolution on your agenda, just so that we get in compliance with the rules.
I was wondering, so this is considered a tax?
Yes.
Because that's how the next one is.
Yeah, that you're allowed to
Additional
have.
dog license tax.
Yep,
And I was like, okay, so do you add a tax onto that? But that's what this is.
yes,
That's a license fee / tax.
Yep.
Okay.
yep. And it should have been, you have the ability to increase it from the state mandated money, but it should have been done by a resolution rather
Okay.
than town board action. Yep.
I got it.
So then the next section is your vehicles and traffic. And again, you can see in each section I've noted what ordinance it came from. There's a lot of them that have a minimum and a maximum. I'm not sure how you would decide who gets charged what in what situation. And then the next section is highways. There's work in or upon the highway for a driveway. There's work in and upon a highway for road opening. There's right-of-way utilities permit, failure to obtain a permit. There's road vacation permits. The one thing that I think would have to look at is Ordinance 44 talks about the permit fee and the violation for work in or upon a town highway. When going through the ordinances, there was a note that that actually got repealed and replaced with ordinance number 60, but I don't see that in ordinance number 60's language. So I wasn't sure if that was active ordinance or if that really was repealed and replaced. I just didn't see it. It's possible that I didn't find that language. So that's just a question I had in that one. And then waterways, we have our boat launch permits. Whether you're a resident, non-resident, 65 years or older, there's the daily and then the annual fees that people pay. There's motorboat violations, the first offense and second and subsequent offenses. Locations of piers, wharfs, and swimming rafts, that's ordinance 42, and that again has language about after conviction, and it was not very clear what that meant. In the court section, the contempt of court, which was under ordinance 26, and then there's also contempt of court under ordinance 45. They pretty much are the same fee that's being charged or penalty. I just wasn't sure if at some point someone may want to look at those two ordinances to see if one supersedes the other one, if there's other language. I didn't look at every line item in the ordinances, I just looked for penalties and fees. So there may be a difference between those two I just didn't catch, and that they still need to be active. Then you have your permitted uses, which is the fishing and the hunting, ordinance 4. Animals, which is basically ordinance 5 and ordinance 51. Ordinance 5 is impounding an animal, vicious dogs, keeping wild animals. Then the next section is public peace and order, which is ordinance 9 and ordinance 10. Then the next page is emergency government, ordinance 11. And again, you can see there's quite a few that have a minimum and a maximum, and the question is, how do you decide who gets the minimum charge and who gets the maximum, or somewhere there in between?
I would think
Yeah.
the judge would.
Well, it doesn't say anything about judge, it just says that's what the fee is. There's nothing in the ordinance language that says anything about a judge deciding
No.
the fee
The officer
amount.
would have the discretion to
But
issue.
it doesn't even say that either. There's nothing in the language that I saw that said it's specifically decided by a particular person. Whether it's a police officer, the chair, or the municipal court, there wasn't any language that I saw.
It would typically be something that would be in the discretion of the prosecutor in conjunction with the
Yep.
police officer, mainly due to the severity of the offense. So that's why there's kind of a wide range. It could be as simple as someone's not picking up the trash can on a reoccurring basis and it's getting left in the roadway, it's causing obstruction, or someone has a home that is, dilapidated and about to fall down. Both of those kind of carry different severity concerns, and a fine may reflect that.
So because the language is silent, the officer would have the right to, upon discretion, and then if there's a disagreement, it would go to the judge.
The judge would also make the call, and the judge could say, you know what, actually, I'm going to issue a fine that is in the middle or lower. The judge just, by law, can't go below the minimum.
So we're fine leaving the language silent.
I think it's actually probably better,
Right.
that way you can touch on any kind of circumstance that could arise.
And then property management, that was just a little one, ordinance number 27. Fire protection and prevention. The first couple of lines are under ordinance 2025-30, but then the next couple of lines, like the burn permit and the fireworks permit, it doesn't specifically say in the ordinance the dollar amount, but the actual permit or application form does. And that's covered by Wisconsin State Statute 660628. That allows the municipalities to set a fee that's reasonable to the cost of issuing the fee and, making sure that the person's following what the application permits them to do. Then there's taxation and assessment, which is ordinance number 38. Solid waste regulations, ordinance number 40. Commissions and committees, basically that one is just the planning committee and the fee that we charge. Currently, ordinance 54, it says it's $125. Again, this is covered under that Wisconsin State Statute 660628. I could not find anywhere where it was changed from 125 to 350. It's probably a town board action, but to go through all the meeting minutes to try to find that from when ordinance 54 was in place and to whenever that amount was changed, just did not have the time to do that, to find out where that came from.
So we're charging 350.
Yes.
Is it possible that the
So
ordinance...
that's something we need to,
Yeah, is it possible the ordinance could have said it's 125 or such other amount as determined by the town board?
I don't remember it saying
Okay.
that, but we'd have to
Okay.
look at ordinance number 54.
Okay.
Yep.
Sometimes that language would exist too, and then you have at least, hopefully, that
Yep.
flexibility as opposed to, we need to fix that soon, kind of thing.
right?
Yep.
I think we need to work on that one.
Then there's fees, and a lot of these are not covered under ordinance or a resolution. They are either Wisconsin State Statute 66.0628 or a town board action. And the first one there, fire number signs, currently we're charging $51, and we believe that should be more like $65. So that's something to look at in the future. I believe the latest sign that we got charged by Lang was $41 itself, and then it would be maybe $10 for the pole or the post, and then there's the time of the guys to put it in. So we're sort of undercharging ourselves there with the $51. Okay.
Now, does that apply to just new fire numbers or missing fire numbers?
Or let's say they've had it so long that the sun has faded it out, or it got hit by the snowplow, that they want a replacement, then the resident would pay for the replacement of the fire number.
No,
Yep.
wait a minute, if they hit it with a snowplow, you're gonna make the,
Not our guys.
oh,
They live on
Jeff's
like,
not hearing me, so that's all right.
if they live on
He's in the
county
back there.
road.
All right, and then the next section is cemeteries. And that was set at a town board action at 2/23/21, the first line. But then the rest of it is under resolution 1010. I don't know if those per se are actual anymore. If, since we're charging $600 per space based on that town board action. And we really don't have control over the costs or what people are charging for digging the grave and placing the casket. And I didn't think that the town actually did perpetual care. I hadn't heard that in the time that I've been here. That's the last line item in cemeteries. So the first line for sure would stay, but I wasn't sure about the other ones within that section. And then miscellaneous, that basically came from the recent ordinance that was put in place, 2025-74, with the compost facility out there. So I added those dollar amounts in there based on the language of that ordinance. I know that there had been talk about possibly having compost and chips, possibly selling them per yard and a delivery fee. I added that. I didn't know if that was something that we would want to leave on there.
Yeah, I don't think, we don't charge for that.
No, that's
We're not
why I'm
currently.
saying, we don't now, but that was something that when Susan was here, we talked about it. So I added it to this. But
We
I didn't
actually
know if
fi-
that was something we would want on there or not.
If I remember correctly, we actually did talk about it a little bit, and we agreed not to charge.
Not to?
That's what I
Right.
remember.
So
Okay.
I think we should take that off then.
Is that what
Okay.
you remember?
Yeah. I
Yeah,
don't
otherwise
think
you have
we
to
will.
certify that it's good. If they chew up a bunch of stuff that's all nasty, and then you sell it, you're liable for it.
We're not monitoring the compost heap either,
No.
so it would be difficult for us to
Right.
Yep.
do that.
So it would
Yep.
be almost,
So, yeah, we should not put that fee
Okay.
on there then, if we're going to pass this. We
Right.
don't want to pass it with those fees on there. Correct?
Right, well, you could make the motion to have that line item or that
Yeah.
section taken off.
Okay.
Once you make that. And then the very last one, most of the ordinances and resolutions, I could find the live copy that was used when they were initiated, and then the signed copy after they were approved. But the last one, Assembly's Ordinance Number 12, all I could find was a copy of the posting in the newspaper at the time that it was approved. And then there was a note that it became a resolution, but again, I didn't find anything in the resolutions that supported that statement. From how old the article was, I'm thinking this might have been when they were having protests for maybe the Vietnam War or something. And so they had to get a license for their protests, and then if there were violations, how much they would have to pay for the violations of those protests. So that may be another one that you may not want on there, I don't know. But
Yeah,
that
I'm not
was
sure
the-
we need that on there.
I would
Yep.
actually suggest that you cut that one.
Yeah,
Okay.
that
There's
could
some
open
First
up a whole
Amendment
ball.
concerns that
Right.
could arise with that.
Okay.
Okay. So
Thanks.
we're gonna-
fine them for
All
the-
right, so
Thanks for
we'll
finding
remove
all this
that one.
stuff. You did a great job putting this together.
Yeah, this is
Oh,
really,
fun.
yeah.
So the idea is that at this point, this document shows you exactly the dollar amounts that are in the ordinances and the resolutions and the town board action that's been taken in the past. With the couple of things that I pointed out, we can leave it as is, and then after we've done a little research, we can amend this resolution in the future. Or if you want to take more time to look it over, however you want to handle it. But, but at this point, this resolution matches all the dollar amounts that are in the ordinances, the resolutions, and the town board actions that have been taken. So it's your decision on what you want to do with it.
Yeah, I mean, it's the first time we've seen it, so I think,
Yep.
obviously, like I said, you guys did a great job putting this together. It's amazing. Having all this on one document, I think, is exactly what we were trying to do.
Yep.
That all being said, I think to have some time to flush out a few of these things before we just agree is probably worthwhile, right?
Yep, well, that's up to you.
I mean, there's a few
Yep.
more things that need to be flushed out, right? Like, some of the ordinances you said you couldn't find, just maybe needed a little more time.
Well, no, I found the ordinances. I mean, they are what they are, what we have in the Code of Ordinances book and what we have up on the website.
But you said like with the planning committee, that one?
Yeah, like that one, could have been a town board action. I just don't know where to look for it. I have no clue on when that amount may have been as part of a town board meeting.
So we could essentially then probably just approve it at that fee tonight and just make it official?
You'd have to
Yes.
pick your dates though, right?
Right.
That we
Yep.
want it to
Yep.
go into effect.
Right.
Yeah,
I think your ordinance on the 350 fees got to get either changed or verified that it says something like, or as amended.
Do it in a separate
Yeah.
resolution?
Yeah.
Ordinance 54.
It'd be, yeah, just be an ordinance to amend that section of the code. Just basically say,
Well,
the
we
town
can-
can charge a fee as determined by the town board from time to time.
Right.
And they did put the Code of Ordinances together. We approved that a couple months ago,
couple
I
months
think.
ago, yeah.
Yeah.
And, part of the reason for that is that over time, we will have an amendment to all the ordinances with fees and remove those fees and just say, refer to the fee schedule, so we don't have to continually change ordinances just for changes of fees.
Right, that's the next step. So going through this, there's about 30 ordinances that have dollar amounts in them, listed specifically. And I think it's like 5 resolutions that also have dollar amounts. Once we put this in place, those ordinances and resolutions will be the same, and you'll be okay. But we will want to go through the process of looking at each of those ordinances and resolutions and amending them to include the fact that no longer are the dollar amounts listed specifically, but now it's attached to the fee schedule. And I've got the documents, again, it was a sample document I got from the Wisconsin Towns Association that gave me the language on how to do that amendment. So I've got all 30 of those ordinances sitting there waiting to look at, to amend them, to now switch to the fee schedule, and then the resolutions as well. We just have to decide over the next year how many you want to do at a meeting. Because there's 30 ordinances and about 5 resolutions. And how you want to pursue them. Maybe the liquor licenses first and the taxation one at the end, which ones are more important or how you want to handle it. But at this point, what we first got to do is get this fee schedule in place before we can do all that work. And
So-
one reason why we did the Code of Ordinances is now when you make those amendments to those ordinances, you don't have to post them or publish them in the newspaper, and you don't have to have that cost of notifying through a newspaper the changes you made to your ordinances. We just do it in the book.
So this will save us quite a bit of money over the
Yes.
course of the year when we do this.
So ordinance 54, how did we end up charging 350?
That's what I'm saying, I don't know. I don't know.
I
It
mean, what
must
do
have
they
been-
get that tells them they owe for $350?
At some point, there must have been town board action that was taken to change the fee from 125 to 350. I just have not found it.
Yeah, because the ordinance isn't, it specifically says
Right.
125, it doesn't say,
As amended from time to time.
yeah.
Yep.
So that one's got to come back to the board for work.
Okay, so we can bring that back next month to
Well,
revise it
can
to
we
this.
s-
That's what everyone is paying right now, is $350.
Is
They come
$350.
in and they fill out
Yeah.
and provide all the necessary applications and.
Yeah. And it's been that way since I've been here early 2024. So somewhere between ordinance 54, what's the date on that ordinance?
2008. December.
between 2008 and 2024,
There was
there was-
one earlier that was only like 30-some.
Yeah,
And this is,
but that's a lot of meeting minutes to go
and
through.
actually, this
to
doesn't
find
say
the
it
one
repeals
that
the
has
other one.
the change
So-
on it.
Well,
can we pass this with the 350 in there?
I think you can. I think it would be a good idea then to get that ordinance on the next agenda to amend that, to just say a fee established by the town from time to time. And
or just refer back to the fee schedule? Can we just do that? That's what
Yeah,
our intent
yes.
is.
Yes.
Yeah, you can reference the town's fee schedule.
Yeah,
Bottom
and you'll
line is
actually
it's-
see that in the next resolution we're going to talk about. That's a simple example of the fee schedule language that you'll see in the ordinances and the resolutions that you'll be amending in the future.
So for license and permits on page 2, it has background check fees, so that still has just X's in it. If we wanted to approve it today, would we just remove it and then at a later date add this back on? Or is there some type of,
You could,
Value?
according to the Wisconsin state statute, you can set that to something that's reasonable to what it costs for your staff to do the background check. And I don't know what the average background checks are in municipalities. That's not something that I looked up.
how often do you have to do background checks? You do them for the liquor license?
We
Yep.
do just very basic ones for the liquor license
And the-
through that cap or whatever.
CCAP?
that-
Your CCAP.
CCAP, sorry.
And so that should be included, that background check should be included in their fee already.
It's not a very time-consuming thing
Right.
to do. If you want to say, oh, it takes me 15 minutes to sit down and pull it up and look over their information and maybe print it for you guys to see, that is about the extent of it.
Okay.
So Laura, you were thinking that the
Would it be
background
for
fee,
something
check fee is
different?
part of the liquor license
Yeah, that's
fee?
what I'm asking, is that
It-
already included in the?
No, it's separate.
It's separate.
Yeah, I mean, you could look at it as being separate. If you want to say, we consider it part of that, it's not in the state statute that that background check is part of that liquor fee. Or, but you could say it is, like Wendy said, it doesn't take very long to do it, or you could charge a separate fee for it.
And there are other ones where they're very specific about, like with the Busy Barns thing that we just did, we have to publish it for 3 days. We charge them for the publishing, and it's very specific. I don't know if it's laid out. It's a
Yep.
statute, I think, that says that we are able to go ahead and do that. So it's just whatever that is. But beyond that, they pay their fees, they turn in their application.
We could just delete it, couldn't we?
Yeah, well,
Just
that's
okay.
what I'm getting at, is there any other instance where we do background checks? That's what I'm getting at.
I don't think so.
No,
Then
I
maybe
was
we-
going to say
then we could
maybe
just-
Vanessa or something for her department, but not for us that I'm aware of.
So then we really don't, it doesn't really necessarily apply for anything that we're doing right now. Do you have a suggestion?
The only municipality that I can think of that actually charges a fee, they have their police department actually run a background check, and I don't know if that goes through the FBI database or what database that goes through. Bottom line, there is some kind of charge that's incurred. I think it's $35, but it's not to the level of doing just a CCAP search. If that's the case, I would say you just leave it at a $0 amount and not charge them an additional fee. I do think it probably is not a horrible idea, though, to just put $0 on there and leave the substance, because that could be a helpful reference tool for someone on the town board or the clerk in the future to just know that there is that item that exists out there, and right now it is $0.
That's a good point.
Okay, that's reasonable. All right. So we'll put that, and everyone agrees we'll do that? Okay, we'll put that. So we would need to change a couple, or just add the date, and it looks like on the first page, we've resolved a couple of these items now. Do we want to revisit this next month, or do you feel comfortable approving it as is at any point as we move forward, particularly during budget season? We can revisit the fee schedules as well.
We just upped a lot of the fees
2 years ago, a year ago.
But we can
So
always.
I think these are pretty set.
Yeah, but we can, I mean, it'll allow us to revisit whenever we feel it's necessary.
Right, and you would have to look at it as it is a resolution, so you would have to do the same board action to amend this resolution if you get to that point to want to change one of the dollar amounts that are listed, or to take a line item off, or to add a line item. You would have to go through like just what we're doing today, bring it to the board, and then have board action for that.
But right now, this has not been approved, so what
Right, that's what I'm saying,
changes-
after it's approved.
Right, changes that we would like made would make sense to have you make the changes that we're asking for now before we approve it?
Either way, I mean, if
Well,
you,
not necessarily. If it's in the ordinance, we have to approve this first and then go back to the ordinance to say, like, we can't change what,
right, I wouldn't want you to change an ordinance after you have to have this in place then to go and change the ordinance
Right,
to
but
the
I mean, like,
language.
just taking off the 2 lines on the,
So I think she's saying if you take off like the 350 and if you zero that out, would it make more sense to put that into what you have there for the resolution and then have them approve it after that change has been made, or? Well, I'm just saying,
Yeah.
I think that's what Joy's getting at.
well, under assemblies, if we take that whole thing off,
we'll take that off.
Yep, and the compost chips.
and the compost
Yep.
chips, take that off, and then bring it back as corrected. I don't know, I
We
don't
can
care.
do that, or we can just, we often just say as amended.
Right, because like you're going to change the one line item background check fee to 0, and then take the last 2 items off, then I would think if those are the only changes at this time,
Plus the compost chips
yes,
off.
Yep.
So the last 4 items actually
Yep.
come off.
then you could accept it or approve it as with those amendments or changes, I would think.
Makes sense to me.
I think so. And then let's just go back then to the first page. So now therefore be it resolved that the town board does hereby adopt the following fees and/or penalties to be effective upon posting. Relevant town ordinance number, town resolution. So,
Those are all listed on the actual line items. That was just part of the language that Wisconsin Town Association gave me.
so do we need to add something specific, or does it stay here? It says TBA, month, date, year. Do we need to add something specific into this
No,
location?
That's where they're listed on each line item.
Oh, okay.
So we just really essentially need an effective date.
We just need the
And then a motion
effective-
to approve.
Like, do you
But
want it
Subject to
effective
the
as a,
3 or 4 items that we already talked about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
so
think
do you
this
want it
could be-
effective as a certain date or effective as of the posting? Those can be different, depending
I
on.
think it should be effective when it's posted, or at least give a
Exhibit.
grace period after it's
Yeah.
posted, right?
Yep.
I mean, so post it and then give a grace period of a month or
Okay.
15
That's
days.
really
or
what it should be.
How long
Okay,
does
so
it have to-
Michael has said that it
Okay.
should just see posting and take out that in relevant town ordinance, et cetera, and just put Exhibit A, and then at the top of the next page, we can put in Exhibit A.
Does that make sense? Where
Yeah.
you have the parentheses,
Yes.
town ordinance, town resolution, state statute,
Okay,
we're removing that, and it's just saying the town board adopts the following fees to be effective upon posting as attached as Exhibit A, and then your document is Exhibit A,
okay,
your master fee schedule.
Okay.
And then you can use this every single time that you come back with any amendment, just bring the
Yes.
entire whole document with you and approve Exhibit A again, and just keep approving Exhibit A as changes come through.
Okay. So we
Sure.
can just say this fee schedule will take effect upon posting?
So this would have to be posted to the newspaper then, Laura?
I don't know, is that,
resolutions, I don't think have to be
No.
Okay,
posted or
so-
published.
So
They just have to be
if
posted.
they did it today, potentially, and signed.
Yep.
I could post it
Tomorrow.
tomorrow, and then it would take effect, when would you want it to take
But
effect?
if you want a grace period, it's usually nice to give a little notice. but-
Well,
Well,
that's
these
what
are
I'm
the-
just saying, do you want it
We
to be
really
March
haven't
the
changed
1st?
any
We haven't
fees,
changed
so
it.
it doesn't matter.
right?
Oh, okay.
We really haven't
Yes.
changed anything.
Yeah, we didn't
Exactly.
raise anything, so, yeah.
No.
They
No.
could just go into
Doesn't
effect.
matter.
Right. Is that your recommendation?
That's totally fine, yeah.
Or will
So-
take effect upon
Posting,
posting or signature? Just posting.
yeah, you could, well, it'll get updated tomorrow probably, and then you sign it tomorrow, and then it'll get posted whenever it gets posted after that.
Okay.
Okay, so that covers that paragraph, and then the next one, it says to be approved effective with the passage of this resolution, this fee schedule will take effect, blah, blah, blah. Take that out?
No, they're just, the fee schedule will take effect upon posting as opposed to take effect month, day, year.
Okay.
No?
Yes, maybe just because of how many changes we are slowly
Maybe we'll bring it back?
bring it back, because to Tom's point, the fees are already in place.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
then that way it's one clean document. You guys look at it one final time.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's
that's what
good.
I'm thinking. I
Yeah.
would like to.
Okay.
Yeah, just, there's quite a few changes. That'd
All
be
right.
Okay.
a fun motion to make.
Okay, so we will make those changes, Laura will make those changes.
Yep.
And bring it back. There's really not too much. I mean, you did a fantastic job here. This is a huge amount of work to go through everything. And we all recognize and appreciate it very much.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's awesome.
Whew,
Yeah.
that was a
Let's
lot.
get this one done, and then you have your ordinances and
So,
resolutions. That's a joy.
so can we still do the dog license resolution?
You're establishing that for the first time, right? Or you're increasing it?
Increase.
No, we're establishing it.
Yes.
Because it was on a action, it wasn't on a resolution.
It wasn't on a
Is that what
resolution,
you're
so we could still,
Well, now the
this.
issue with this is, it's referring to the resolution you just did not pass.
okay.
So,
Where does it say that?
Well, it's
Oh.
resolution 20.
Okay.
right. So if you look at that one where
Oh,
it says,
yeah.
now therefore be it resolved that the town of Oakland shall assess a dog license tax reflected in the town of Oakland's fee schedule, that the Board of Supervisors of the town of Oakland, Jefferson County is heretofore adopted by passage of resolution 2026-02.
So we'll bring it back the next
Just
month
bring it
then?
back
Yeah,
then.
so.
Just bring this one back to me then.
Okay.
Okay, all right. So we
All right, Mike.
have now gone through agenda item 10, and we will table discussion possible action on
Thank you.
resolution 2026-03 to increase the dog license fee. So we'll table that until next month as well. And then we will go on now to.
Can I just ask a question?
Yes.
So everywhere it's referred to as dog license. Not dog license tax.
In the resolution you read, it said
Yeah, interchange.
tax.
Yeah.
Okay, and again, that's a sample of
Can we just say dog license?
it said take the tax out?
Because it's,
Yeah.
yeah, it confused
Or
me.
dog license
Which
fee or
doesn't take a
something.
lot to confuse me, but
No, I can see that.
I thought maybe there was another tax on top of the license.
No, no.
So
One and the
just,
same.
yeah,
Yeah.
now I know that, but maybe let's just take tax off of that.
If you got the statute cited, so you're good.
Okay, okay, so we'll take it, make that change when we bring it back.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, any further questions about that? Okay. Hearing none, we will go on to number 12, update on Cambridge Fire EMS Commission dispute. Michael?
Okay, yes, the saga continues with this matter. As far as an update goes, we're still having a disagreement with regard to the scope of the audit. The attorneys have all disagreed as to really what the IGA says as far as an audit goes. Some attorneys think that it's supposed to be a full-fledged audit like you all would have with your auditor that comes in on a yearly basis and matches up all invoices with all disbursements, and you get, an A+, and, things are good, your residents are happy. My opinion is the way the IGA is written, that audit is more of like a term of art, and rather it's a evaluation as to assets and liabilities, and it's more of a determination of a balance sheet as opposed to a full-scale audit. That issue continues to linger. I do have a call scheduled with the should be every attorney, and then the individual who was identified as being the arbitrator set for this Friday to try to get an understanding as to what the audit scope should be. The reason we're fighting about all of this is because I have drafted a direction letter for the auditor, with the goal being that, hey, auditor, we understand that there's this IGA out there. It uses the term audit. And when you, auditor, think of term audit, you think of, I'm sitting at town hall for several days on end, matching up invoices and disbursements. That's technically not what we intended that to be the case, that you are simply evaluating items that were purchased. Here's a proof of purchase, a liability. Here's a proof of a liability, and you're reaching a conclusion as to overall dollar amounts. That is the goal, and the intention would be, here's a cover letter with your directions, auditor. Here's all these attachments, and ideally we've kind of put everything on a silver platter for the auditor to at least make a conclusion and render a report. Baker Tilly is the one who I've had at least in preliminary conversations with about. They have been a little concerned about how to render an audit, because again, they're thinking through the lens of an auditor and following true GAAP principles, and we all know the documentation with the commission is very sparse, and so that gives them some heartburn. So we are trying ultimately to get to an agreement between all the parties as to the scope of said audit and the direction letter that would be provided to the auditor. In addition to that, there's still a lingering issue of getting documentation and proof of purchase for a few assets from the commission, namely ambulances. I've been told dates of purchase. I've been told purchase amounts, but I'm just getting told that in an email. There's not like a, hey, here's the invoice that we paid, or here was even an estimate of cost, or here's the contract that we signed when we ordered the ambulance. All of those things are kind of necessary for an auditor to feel good about saying this is what the purchase was. Or alternatively, at least the parties would all agree as to what the purchase amount was and the purchase date was. That's a lingering issue. Hopefully that's something that can get resolved, or at least a plan of action for Friday. In addition to that, you all may know, my understanding is everybody has given a notice to withdraw from that commission except for the Village of Cambridge. And my understanding is all of those notices were at least given in December of this past year to become effective 1/1/20.
What was that again now?
All municipalities except for the Village of Cambridge have given a notice of withdrawal from the district.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and that, my understanding is that all of those will be effective 1/1/27. So by virtue of the IGA, the district terminates when there's only one municipal member. So my hope is, now that we're not the only party that's either out or going to be out, there's a little bit more of an interest and a drive to try to get something done and resolved before January 1, 2027. I won't hold my breath because we've been talking about this for a long time. What's going to happen here is going to be kind of an interesting push and pull. Under the IGA, when we withdrew, we're supposed to receive a payout, or we're supposed to pay in as of a certain date, depending on the assets and liabilities that existed. Generally speaking, we were expecting to receive a payout from the district. However, when there's been a withdrawal notice that's given, in which there's only one municipality that remains as of 1/1/27, then we're dealing with the liquidation of assets, and the any monies that remain would then be paid out to the remaining municipal owners at that point in time. So what I'm getting at is we're going to have to, one, cross our fingers that what they actually sell and liquidate all assets for pays off all their debts. We're arguably a creditor in a way to that amount to be to determined. And then there's going to be this priority, I think, of who's entitled to any payouts or any monies that exist. Our position and my position would be we're first in priority of the municipal owners because we gave our withdrawal first, and there should have been a calculation that occurred a long, long time ago. All of this part remains to be seen. And then finally, there's also a lingering issue, and I don't want to get too much into the merits of it, but the towns of Lake Mills and Christiana. Last Friday, there was a status conference before the Dane County Circuit Court judge in which they filed a motion to dismiss our arbitration action. I can get you all a copy of that motion. Like I said, I don't want to get into the merits of it tonight. That's something for a more confidential discussion with you all at a later date. I don't necessarily agree with the underlying merits of the motion. However, it does ultimately present a larger issue of we've got an arbitrator that never really acted in an arbitration capacity and kind of flipped roles into being a mediator of sorts to try to facilitate this audit, which is kind of related to why we filed this arbitration in the first place. And so these things are all kind of intertwined in a way. Something that the circuit court judge will probably have to sort out at some point. But hopefully there's some progress Friday on my call to move forward. I can tell you that immediately after our status conference, the commission's attorney did reach out to everybody and say, I want to put the motion to dismiss aside for a second and try to figure out what is needed to help move this audit forward. I did respond after that, about a day or two later, and also proposed having this call, which is scheduled now for this Friday. So that is where we stand with things. Not a lot of movement, unfortunately. That's also no surprise. I think we can all concur with that. And that's pretty much where we're at with everything.
So there's a briefing schedule on the motion to dismiss, so?
There is, correct, yes. I don't have the dates that I recall off the top of my head, but I want to say something like we have 30 days to file a response, and then they would have 15-ish days probably after to submit a reply, and then there's an hour-long oral argument that the court will hold.
It's in April.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Hopefully, that could be moot if there's this significant progress. An interesting fact here, and I don't know what the relationship is, but the attorney that delivered the Town of Lake Mills notice of withdrawal is not the attorney, separate firm who's representing the Town of Lake Mills in the litigation, which is kind of a interesting set of interests, if you will. You would think the Town of Lake Mills, who's now given a notice of withdrawal, would like to see everything wrapped up as cleanly as possible and not engage in kind of distracting litigious action. That's just pure conjecture on my part. I have no reason to know why one way or another. It's just an interesting observation and frankly a surprising one when I saw that notice of withdrawal come from a different law firm entirely.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
All
Good.
right.
With Peter's appointments, Mark.
Excuse me, I'm sorry.
Just the village.
It's our understanding from the paper, and I do know confirmation from Lake Mills that they did.
Mhm.
And it's my understanding that Christiana and Rockdale did as well.
Okay, I just forgot who was all in there yet.
And I, in my correspondence replying to the commission's attorney's email, I even state that it was my understanding that everybody except the Village of Cambridge is withdrawn. No one objected or disputed that statement at all.
No, we have letters from the
Yeah, we
attorney
do.
Okay.
stating that they've all withdrawn.
Okay.
That's right, we do. It was a few months ago.
Oh, I never knew that. It'd be nice if it would be passed along to us as well.
I mean, I'll leave that up to the board on whether you want to invite commentary now. I mean, there was public comment earlier. And we do
Yeah.
have still a little bit more on this agenda.
Is it
Let's
a
move on
question?
for now. Okay, we'll move on. All right. Not right. Well, this is our time for our meeting, and really, we don't take questions except during public comment.
meetings closed to the public because you just don't want anybody to say anything.
Okay.
You just want everyone to follow what you say and shut up.
Okay.
It
Just
would-
for the record, there was a public comment option stated here for any residents that had
But he
concerns.
didn't know what, I didn't know what you were talking about. I knew about the motion to dismiss, but I
Sure.
didn't have any idea about the withdrawals.
Well, if you-
So if they don't know about that, I don't see why we can't allow a question.
Well, in the future, I mean, he can certainly submit an email to the clerk, and the clerk can get that to
What
the board.
now? I can't, it's
He
hard for
can,
me
he
to
can submit an
understand.
email to the clerk, and the clerk can get that passed along and an answer to him if it's an inquiry that we can respond to.
Typically, the meeting is for us. We take public comment during the meeting, outside of the meeting, but then when we have the meeting, it is about our group. We could be here for hours, just answering
Okay.
questions or feeling like,
Well, I know David had brought up once,
Oh.
can we possibly change our agenda to have public comment?
We're getting
but
off track here.
If we,
At the
if we
end
make
of
Point
Yeah.
order,
Yeah.
point order.
okay, let's
I
move on.
agree.
it's the
Okay.
way it's the way the meetings are run is what we're arguing about here, not any points.
Right,
Okay.
it just doesn't seem right.
Okay, we're going to move on to Cable Committee update. So we have 3 people from the committee.
Okay, I've sent you everything. The Cable Commission approved a 2025 end-of-year report. It's got everything basically that was done in 2024 and 2025. Melissa has been with the commission since June of 2024, and at our meeting in January, it was approved that she would now be the lead operator and Gary would step down. And for the year 2026, he will remain as an assistant to help through the transition period here. The commission, Melissa's work would include 25 to 30 hours per week. Gary would be approximately 10 to 12 hours. So we still, the total would be still approximately a 40-hour person together for the month, or the year of 2026. And it was noted that only franchise fees support the operations of the Cable Commission, and all equipment is owned by the Cable Commission. And the ordinance for the Village of Cambridge 2.76 was included in the packet that I put together for you all. And it includes that ordinance. This ordinance gives the Cable Commission authority to receive and disperse any and all monies, including any franchise fees. The commission will make a written report to the village and town, including the account of franchise fees received and dispersed. And that's on the financial statement that's also included in the packet. I will state that on the financial statement, it does show that there are some monies received from the state as well.
Yeah, that's over.
Video service provider aid is also received. That's a yearly total of $4,571.22. Besides the franchise fees that come from the village and from the town of Oakland. Let's see, you can read over the report. Melissa did advise at an October meeting, at which time there wasn't any, or there wasn't a quorum present. It was advised that the sound on the recordings after an hour and a half, kind of fade away. And so Melissa's been working on remedying that, and which also possibly in the near future, the Cable Commission would have to purchase new recording equipment. We'll have to see if that continues. The last equipment was purchased in 2023. It was agreed that, or ordered that Gary could purchase more equipment, and that was done, and Gary has reported now that all the equipment has been replaced, but I'm not sure if that was done in 2023 or 2024. But everything was replaced after it was approved. So if you look at the report, Gary and Melissa's report is in there about how many recordings were made. And I did a spreadsheet of the YouTube recordings and how many are viewed on that. Besides going on YouTube, Melissa and Gary put recordings also on Charter Cable Channel 987. And a lot of people do look at that as well if they have Charter. In fact, at the commission meeting that we had on February 17th, we had a comment from Grace Lutheran member stating that there were several people that really missed the recording when the 987 was down for a couple of weeks. And Melissa and Gary had gotten through to Spectrum and got that remedied. And now that's up and running again. So we know that there are people other than the YouTube viewers. Grace Lutheran, as we know, is a Town of Oakland church. So those are constituents. Besides, I mean, they're not all Town of Oakland members, but it refers to us as well. When I did my spreadsheet that you have, Laura had wanted it for 2025 and 2024, how many views I went through. And I just did a quick average of views for meetings for 2025. The average number of views on the YouTube channel is 57 for only hours. Each meeting, 57 people view that, which is quite a number of people viewing it. And that doesn't include the cable channel 987. So if you read over, I don't know if you have any questions about any of the meetings. Gary had said that they do record. If they're requested to record a parade or any other event, they will do that. And I also included minutes. I know there's been a question about bylaws. I went through all of our records in the Town of Oakland. Paula Hollenbeck checked Village of Cambridge. I called Mary Baling. I called Mike Rumpf. No one has initial bylaws. And that is something that we could possibly work on with the Village of Cambridge to enact a set of bylaws from now on, if that's something that you need. We've basically been running on what has been passed by the Cable Commission in the past. In November 29th, 2000, there was a meeting. At that time, prior to that time, Charter had issued one check for village and town inclusive. And per legal counsel, they advised that two separate checks franchise fee checks should be issued from the cable company to the two municipalities. The Town of Oakland and Village of Cambridge charter has the ability to divide the franchise fees according to cable subscribers in each municipality and issue two separate checks directly to each municipality. In turn, the municipalities will deposit the checks and then cut checks back to the Cable Commission. And at that time, November 29th, 2000, the commission unanimously agreed that this is the procedure they will adopt, to have each municipality forward the franchise fees to the Cable Commission. The minutes from January 31st, 2001 reference separate franchise checks have now been made payable to the Village of Cambridge and to the Town of Oakland. The Town of Oakland clerk is prepared to receive franchise fees and will account for these in the Oakland books, and in turn will cause a check to be processed to cable for Oakland's portion of the fees. There was a meeting December 17th. I included the minutes December 17th, 2010. And this is just in verification of the equipment is owned by the Cable Commission. At that meeting, Gary Isabel reported that the Town of Oakland would like to use the cable equipment, wireless microphones and mixer for their public address system during meetings, including meetings that are not covered by cable. The policy has been that if the equipment is used, the event would be filmed and shown on cable channels. After discussion, it was determined to remain with the existing policy and allow equipment to be used if the event is filmed and aired on cable. So that's proof that the equipment belongs to the Cable Commission, and any recordings are used to record the meetings or whatever on the cable channel, as well as now recently on YouTube. So the Town of Oakland has been holding two payments now, two franchise fee payments. The first one was dated November 7th, 2025, and it covers July 2025, August 2025, and September 2025. That franchise fee payment should be transferred to the Cable Commission. Another check has now been received for the fourth quarter of 2025. That is dated February 5th, 2026. Covers October, November, and December 2025. And we have had all of our meetings recorded. We've used the Cable Commission employees to record our meetings, and I don't see that we should be allowed to hang on to, we should pay our payments. I'd like to move now to have the franchise fees for the third quarter of 2025 and the fourth quarter of 2025 that the Town of Oakland has received. The first payment for the third quarter is $6,678.82. The second quarter is for $6,381.11. I would like to move to have both those payments transferred to the Cable Commission.
I don't think we can move without getting some questions answered. I would like to know.
I can make a motion, and it can, if I get a second, and then we can have discussion.
Yeah, let's see if there's a second on the motion first.
I'll second it.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, we have motion and a second. Please feel free to speak.
Where is the ordinance that allows us to pay these payments to anyone? We just finished an audit in the office, Any check that the treasurer cuts has to be supported by backing documentation. There is not a single ordinance that covers this.
We have, according to Laura, also, she had me do a whole question and answer on the Village of Cambridge ordinance.
And the Village of Cambridge ordinance refers back to something else. I don't have a specific ordinance that says the town of Oakland must pay this money to anyone. If I were to go into our checkbook and simply cut a check to Jimmy DeGidio or to David Drews without any documentation to back that up,
Okay, we have minutes that have been approved.
minutes are not the same as an ordinance or a resolution.
Why is this something we don't want to support?
Right.
This is,
We've been doing
we're,
this-
we're disseminating information to our constituents, those who maybe even can't come to our meetings. We're also providing several church services. The intent of the money from, in my opinion, from Spectrum was meant for this type of usage to have a local channel. Just wondering why we are against this. Why-
I'm not against filming our meetings and putting them out there for anyone who wants to see them.
All right, I guess I guess we should come up with an ordinance that will allow this.
Right.
I think originally this was coming through Cambridge and they had this ordinance and then it was split up between the two communities.
Right, I will,
Here's another problem, though, that I have. Just bear with me. A little financial exercise for all of you that like finances. Oh, where did it go? This is, sorry.
This is a little exercise that I just put together using the proposed hours and proposed wages and just the franchise fees for 1 year. I guess I need my copy back from you, Laura.
Okay, that's fine.
That shows that using the proposed wages and just fringe benefits of FICA, 7.65%. For the 2 employees, you come up with expenses of $76,409.97. Using the actual revenues from 2025, you come up with revenues of $42,176.06, which leaves us in the hole $34,233.91. How is that difference going to be made up? Franchise fees are going to continue to go down based on the people who are watching, and wages are going to continue to go up based on what you guys just did.
We haven't committed to paying more than our franchise fees.
This is paying more than your franchise fees, right here.
Well-
Where is the extra money going to come from?
this, okay, on the report, we are in the hole. I mean, we have money. The Cable Commission has money. In,
The Cable Commission has restricted funds. What are the restricted funds? What is the restriction on those? What are
It-
they to be used for?
to support the Cable Commission.
In what way? Wages?
The same
Wages
way-
don't come out of there. Wages come out of pooled cash. Where do the wages, or what comes out of the restricted funds?
When it's needed, just like we have reserve funds if
As
we
I
need
said,
them.
what comes out of the restricted funds?
Your yearly budget that was passed by someone should reflect that. Where's the yearly budget?
We go, I don't have my yearly budget.
Perhaps,
We're supposed to pay to a foundation that has no budget? There has to be a budget.
We have always gone by receiving the franchise fees. The commission has,
No, the commission has had budgets in the past because they're in the folder, but there is no budget now. There hasn't been any budget recently, from what I
Okay.
can see.
well, we will have to meet and do a budget.
Yeah, but
Have we ever spent $1 over the franchise fees?
No.
This would put you over the franchise fees
Have
for
we
a year.
cut to date?
We have,
I can go and look and see. We can certainly look.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Well, I think we have, Tom. I think you have. In just
the town of
information that was
Oakland has
provided.
paid more than franchise fees?
No, that's not what she said.
No, that's not what I said.
That's what
That's
you're
what I
asking.
asked.
That's what he's asking.
He's saying, have you paid? I
No.
thought the question was, has the cable committee ever gone $1 over what the franchise fees are?
No, I didn't ask that.
No, he's asking, has the town of Oakland paid more than franchise fees?
And are we obligated to do so? No.
Well, actually, that raises a really good question. I did my own little analysis. So in the report, there were 6 quarters paid by Oakland. All of 2024 quarters were paid in 2025 for whatever reason, I don't know. And then the first 2 quarters of 2025. So if you look at that, you have a revenue of $63,000. That includes 6 quarters instead of 4, and the expenditures of $72,000. I
Okay.
did not know
Can I
about.
interrupt? That's because I asked about that, and it's on Workhorse like that because that's the time that we switched from QuickBooks to Workhorse.
Okay, that's
That's
fine.
not necessarily when it was paid.
I understand that. But my point is, the 6 quarters are reflected in the credit of $63,861. I did not know about the 4th quarter payment, so I just used the average of the 3 quarter payments that I knew the amounts of. That is around $67,000 per quarter, times 4, that is roughly $27,000. And so if you were just looking at the 4 quarters from the village was $16,589, and 4 quarters from Oakland, you would have $48,000. Then you have the state fees of the $4,500. So if you reflect only what should have been included in this, I understand that it was a Workhorse issue, but it is reflected in here. And so if you take that out of the equation, you have the $72,840 as your expenditures for 2025, and then you have $48,000 in revenue. So that is a $25,000 deficit for that year. So then if you go to the salaries, you have 42 hours per week. So it's 32.5.
That's approximately. That's not all.
It doesn't matter.
What
What we're talking about
let
is
me-
releasing 2 payments from Spectrum. We're not talking about any obligation to fund shortfalls here. There is no bylaws even that can ask Town of Oakland to fund shortfalls. So that's what we're talking about, is just releasing the monies that we got, Laura.
Right,
What are you
and
getting at?
I
What are you
It's
asking?
not
Are you
costing
thinking-
the town of Oakland a penny
are you
because
thinking-
we're not,
Yes.
we get it from charter. It's an in and out.
Yeah.
It isn't
There's
in
no
and out.
obligation from us to fund any kind of shortfall in the budget.
So what I am trying to come up
I
with.
pay for it out of my franchise fees because I have charter.
I understand that, but let me please tell you
I
that based on what
It's
you're,
all on this sheet too, what you're looking at.
I'm trying to tell you and give you even a short understanding of a budget that has not been produced for many, many years. So alone, just based on what the salary was, assuming that Gary makes the same as Melissa, because I don't know what that is, your fringes and maybe $2,000 in equipment, it was $1,000 last year. It does say here, there may be a need to update equipment again in the near future. We'll ignore that.
So what's
for
your
now.
concern?
I'm telling you
What?
that you have a budget of almost $80,000 per year. If you can use both the $77,000 and the $113,000 for both reserves to pay for the the salaries alone, not including any equipment, that says in here, you will run out of money in less than 6 years.
Okay.
6 years.
What happens in 6 years is what I'm getting at. If you would
Technology
like to
changes
have
and you
an
may not need it.
ordinance, or you would like us to revise this, what we need to take into account is the fact that currently this is not sustainable. It is not sustainable in the long run. And this is money that is other people's, it is the taxpayers' money, and he will get that in a minute. So this is what she was trying to get out, and you interrupted. So I'm trying to let you know that these are items that,
Okay.
that we are looking at with our concerns. Budgets have not been made. You have not looked into when are you going to pay for new equipment. It says near future. That
It
isn't-
possibly. I don't know.
Where's the inventory of current equipment? Just asking. I don't see anything on
The
the financial
Cable
report.
Commission is a separate entity.
They should still have an inventory.
I-
It should show up on their.
possibly, they possibly
It
do.
should show up on the financial statement. There should be an inventory of any equipment that they have. I'm not saying that it doesn't belong to them. I'm saying, why is it not included?
Okay. All I'm saying is, we've already used the services for 2025. My motion was to release the two
Give
2025
them due
checks,
payments.
because we've already benefited from it. Any other company, no matter if they have a budget or don't. Do you have a budget for charter? Because we are serviced by charter.
I
Do you
don't
have
do
a-
anything with charter. How would I have their budget?
But we pay them every month.
We don't get a budget from them. We get an
Okay.
invoice from them.
Okay.
We have an agreement with them.
We
do
have
not
an
get
agreement.
invoice from the cable committee. We don't have an agreement with the cable committee.
all right.
We don't have a signed contract. We don't have an ordinance. We have nothing in place.
We
Okay,
have-
so Michael's going to,
Let me,
But we
Go
have
back
a
to-
motion on the floor as well.
We do have a
mo-
motion on the
yes,
floor.
and we can make a vote on that motion. I'd like to at least chime in, allow everybody first to speak. I'd like to give you guys a little more context, just broadly, how these franchise fees work and how they relate to municipalities and what the impact is. And I think, I'm going to try to offer at least an explanation of how we got to this point. It was probably mid-2000s. Prior to that point, prior to the mid-2000s, municipalities had a lot of regulatory control over video service and who was providing service, how they were doing it, where they could install their utilities, things like that. That, as you might imagine, could present a lot of issues because what one municipality likes to regulate may not be what another does, and that can cause more and more issues for utility companies. So what did they do? They went and lobbied the state to limit the control and make it a little bit more uniform. So in the mid-2000s, I believe it was right around that time, the state of Wisconsin pulled back significantly control over utilities and gave them actually a lot more rights to operate within municipalities and limited how municipalities could regulate said utilities. This is why Spectrum doesn't really have to tell you when they drop utility connections in right-of-ways, or they decide they're going to place a bunch of utility poles in a certain location in order to streamline their service or provide better internet quality, things like that. We have a very limited ability, other than probably getting told that it's happening, to stop them from doing that. In exchange for all of that, the franchise fees that were being paid pre-mid-2000s were increased slightly, and that's why on a quarterly basis you receive a check from Spectrum of a significant sum. Okay? What I would have imagined is back pre-2000s, that's why there's this committee that exists, because the committee would have been way more operational and involved because there was more ability to control things. That's why there's all those duties that are listed on what they can do and how they can interact with folks. What likely I'm going to imagine happened is once the state pulled back control, this committee became a lot more obsolete, and the activities and the records that we look for post the pre-2000s or mid-2000s change are really non-existent. That leads me to my next point here as to what the whole point of having a franchise fee and why video services are regulated the way they are. Spectrum is required by law to have a government channel available to it. That can be, anything can be posted on it that's supposed to be for local related things. Anything can go on it or nothing can go on it. There are some places where you can see it and some places there's nothing that exists because no one puts anything into Spectrum to have them provide whatever video that wants to be seen. A lot of that has occurred because technology has advanced. The requirements with regard to how we need to monitor and record our meetings are pretty favorable, frankly, to us. Really our minimum obligation is to approve minutes. A lot of municipalities do a little bit more than that, where they record or they have video and they post those to their website, things like that. But the minimum obligation is that you just have minutes that are approved. Okay? You guys have had a standard practice where you've recorded your meetings and had them available to be processed through Melissa and, I'm sorry, the other gentleman's name? Gary. And then they take that to Spectrum and get that made available on in a local channel. There are other avenues in which you can post things to a website in order for people to view things. There's a lot of municipalities that post things to YouTube, and they have their own YouTube page, and they just continuously post meeting after meeting after meeting after meeting.
Which we do.
Yes, and that is a very inexpensive option because all you have to do is have a recording ability, which can be done with a simple microphone and have a camera, and then that's all that needs to be done. And you just have to equip the town hall, and it's usually a flipping of a switch.
But you have to have somebody to run it.
In the communities that I represent, the clerk just flips the switch, and then everything's recording. Or the administrative staff does that, and then it ends up on the website. I can tell you a majority of the municipalities I represent as well, they just pocket the franchise fee, and they use it for their own funds. Because municipalities are entitled to the franchise fee to use in their discretion. The cost benefit is because the state said, we're pulling back control, we will increase the amount of percentage franchise fee that you were paid municipality, but also what comes with that is Spectrum gets to pretty much do whatever the heck they want within your municipality as far as putting things in the ground, poles up in the air, doing things in right-of-way. As long as they're not obstructing your ability to manage your right-of-way, they're pretty much allowed to dig wherever the heck they want. And that was the pro-con that was weighed at the state level. And so a lot of municipalities, when that happened, they didn't really have anything to regulate. So they just are taking in the money, and they're holding on to it. The town and the village have had this relationship for a long time where the money has gone to be managed by a joint commission. From what I'm hearing is money was just being deposited into a fund and just staying there. Now it was being, if there were things that were being paid out, is going to Melissa and her services. But that is not necessarily something that has to happen. You don't have to have a video service provider. You don't have to post your meetings through Spectrum's
But it is
portal.
a benefit to our residents.
That's a question that you all have to answer. If there's other avenues that you can post your meetings to, video, whether it's YouTube or on your website, if that's sufficient to you all, you can just do that. If you want to continue the ongoing operation where it's also available via television, that's something you can do as well.
The nursing homes use it
and that very well means
on cable TV.
Yeah, and that's totally fine. I mean, that's your guys' choice on what you want to decide. My thought process would be is, YouTube is just as readily available, and it will continue to be, or other internet videos will be the more likely option for most users as time goes on, as opposed to cable, because that seems to be a dying trend as streaming services become more and more available.
Okay.
And so that's something that you all have to decide on, how you would like to proceed. I'll be honest, though, the bulk of the communities I represent pocket the franchise fee. And
Yeah, the tough thing is that we've had a symbiotic relationship here. And we're not acting unilaterally. So if we want to do this, then we should, as a board, decide that's what we want to do. And then,
yeah, absolutely.
and right now, we're just talking about withholding 2 payments. That's,
Well,
But we've already
for-
used the
delinquent.
services for
Yeah.
which those payments should go.
I mean, if that's what we want to do, then we should change that as a board and
But
have
I
those
think
discussions.
that you put the motion on a table prematurely. You gave an update. There may be questions to the update itself to understand more clearly how the Cable Commission works. There hasn't been a meeting in a very long
Oh,
time.
we just had 2 meetings.
It was just
I
that one last week.
I understand that, but in 2022, there was a meeting, and it said that the last meeting was held in 2014. There may be some
That's
questions.
incorrect,
Well, this is,
because I can tell you I've been at meetings since then.
well, I pulled this off of the website. Do you think I made this up?
Well, I'm just telling
Those
you.
are in your minutes, though. So those are the minutes that we are supposed to follow when it comes to paying, but not follow when it's.
So maybe there's some questions about the update itself. There may be some understanding
But we do
on-
have a motion and a second.
I understand that, but I think it was premature that you had an update, and typically what we have with an update, as we have today with a couple of updates, is are there any questions on the update?
Okay.
So I am asking, Jimmy, do you have any questions about the update itself and the Cable Commission that you would like to hear about?
Yeah, my question is, where's the finances for the year? Where's the budget that's passed by the commission that allows us to write checks to whoever? I wanna
We're
see
not
where
writing
that-
any checks, Jimmy.
We're not writing checks?
No.
Who writes the checks?
No.
The commission. right?
Commission
Yeah, it's a
has their
separate-
money.
The commission has a budget, right?
Yes.
Can we see what the budget is?
It's just payroll and some equipment.
Well, who agreed to the budget?
I don't know.
Does the budget have to come back to the village and to the Oakland Township for approval?
It hasn't in the past 26 years.
Does that mean it's not supposed to, or?
I was going to say, as an advisory committee, shouldn't, and this is just my guess, shouldn't their duty be to advise and then the board and?
I'm asking,
Well,
I don't
I'm
know.
asking, I
Okay.
don't know either, Jimmy. I would think as an advisory committee, they would come with whatever
Okay.
suggestions. and
Can
the
I
village
just
and the
have my
township-
motion go through? It's been
I have more
seconded.
questions. If there's no answer, then I just say there's no answer, but those are the questions that, for me to make a decision on a motion, I want to know who's approved to spend that money.
The Cable Commission is approved to spend the money.
For the year in the budget?
It comes, yes. I mean, all these, for
Those-
2025, all these transactions were made.
Those aren't a budget, though. A budget is like projecting forward, like when we do the budget
Okay.
in November, we're projecting forward what we think the expenses and revenues are going to be for
All
the
right.
next year. So we can base things
So-
on that.
If we don't make our payment, we're not going to have any recording. Do our constituents want that? We, as I said, at least 50 people watch each of our meetings. Your meeting, your
Gets watched more
Lake
than this.
Ripley,
Nobody said
recorded,
that the
right.
meetings were
Right.
going to be recorded.
people watch your meeting, people watch the planning committee meetings, people watch the board meetings. We have people out of state that watch.
I don't think anybody's saying people didn't watch the meeting.
So why don't we want to pay what we have used now, and then we can work on your problems? You want a budget for 2026? I will call another meeting and get a budget for 2026.
What is the fair valuation for each one of the meetings recorded? I'm asking you, if we do all of these meetings, what is the cost of the meeting? If there are parades and all of these other things, how much per meeting? What is the fair valuation of the
I don't
meetings that
know.
they record for us? Because they record
It's
what,
just
once a month for us?
3 different meetings. The
It's
planning
hard to
committee-
value what our constituents, how they value
No,
what they
I'm saying
see.
what the
That's,
cost is to us as the
cost.
township for each meeting.
They record the planning committee, they report the Lake Ripley Management District, and they record the board meeting. Plus, the churches, Willerup and Grace, send recordings to them that they upload.
I have a question about that, considering that we're a government body.
The
And don't get
cable
me
commission,
wrong,
Don't
I
bring
this
up that
is a
question,
separate
that's the
entity.
problem.
don't get me wrong, I am religious. But what are we doing posting videos for a church?
It's not on YouTube, it's on the cable channel.
But still, if it's an employee of the commission who is part of the government, isn't that a slippery slope? Don't you see 'em?
Typically,
No.
these types of
No.
questions,
No.
Michael, would
Not
these
at
type
all.
of
Read the
questions be covered in some
Constitution.
kind of bylaw agreement or some kind of a master agreement that's supposed to be followed? I mean, what's supposed to happen here?
I mean, I am a little surprised, it didn't sound like it exists, that there was never some kind of IGA that governed the establishment of this commission.
Well, I can't find an intergovernmental agreement between, I can't actually find the one that's up in June either. I mean, our records here are really awful.
We have the one from 2016. It's a 2006 one. It was just rolled over.
2006?
The 2006 one was rolled over to the 2016 one. So we do have a copy of that. But that's for another time. I have some questions about the update that I would like to understand about the commission.
Okay.
So why are there 2 cable access channels instead of 1?
Before we go further, can I pause and resume the recording real fast?
Please.
Sure.
Yes.
While we're off the record real quick.
Okay, no, we're going on, sorry.
Okay,
Okay.
I prefer to be
No
off the record.
sidebars.
Anyways,
So there are 2 channels. Why are there 2 channels?
988, as far as I'm aware, is used for the Cambridge High School, but it's more so now just maintained to throw up a couple of programs like every other week just to have it running. It's being kept up at the bare minimum for more funds to come in,
Okay.
as far as I'm aware,
Do you know if the school district pays anything for that?
not to my knowledge.
So that was another question I have, because in one of the meeting minutes, I don't have it right here, it says that, oh, it does, right here, that you guys assist with the Cambridge Schools Charter Cable Channel 988. So my question is, how do you assist and provide to the school? Do they wind up paying the commission for that service? Or do you just charge it? Because here, based on how many hours you have per week for the 2 of you, and average it out per, over the course of the year, and we had 63 meetings last year between all the entities that was listed, and you
There
have,
were more than that.
okay, there was only 63 listed. The one you gave me was for 2024 and 2025, which is a total of 100, and there were 63 last year, is if my math serves me right. So there would be 2,184 hours divided by 63 meetings. So that's basically 35 hours per meeting. So are you doing stuff for the school, for the churches? Are there other meetings that are included in this? I'm trying to get a scope of what you are actually doing, because it's not making a lot of sense to me.
Okay. Our meetings, are you taking into consideration how long each meeting is?
Yes, so there's,
How long are you considering each of the 3 recordings they do for Town of Oakland? How long do you consider each of those meetings to be?
well, if you take the number of hours per year divided by 63 meetings, it comes up to 35 hours per meeting. So let's say an average of 5 hours per meeting, that's still an extra 30 hours. That's not accounted for. There's 30 hours for Melissa, 12 for Gary, that's 42 hours per week times 52 weeks, divided by the number of meetings. So I'm trying to understand what you do for the school. Are there other things you do for the school, or are we not including other types of meetings that you're actually doing? I'm trying to understand your whole scope of work. Does-
A lot of the hours I am doing are spent over in Cambridge, maintain the cable schedule, uploading meetings, editing other video projects that I have in the works, which I currently don't have any at the moment. But a lot of it, especially with like the meeting days, it accounts for setup, the meeting itself, takedown, and each day I have an hour of drive time because I spend half an hour just driving here one way.
And then what kind of special projects? I mean, are you doing something for the schools too? It says that you're assisting, so what exactly do you assist with the schools? Are you uploading? How many?
The schools, it's simply going in to rotate the different like CD, there's like a bunch of CDs that are stored that were digitized or stored over there. And there's like different DVD drives that they just run those three. That's mainly what it is with the school channel. There hasn't been any school sports recorded there since like 2010s, I think, were the newest ones that I had seen archived, because I think the school now does their own thing with those. Lost my train of thought. But then like the other video projects, that could be like if I record any of the parades, or if I record Dip for Dozer.
Okay, so
Those
that's
would
what
be
I'm
other
asking.
things like that.
That's what I'm asking for, because, like I said, if there's only 63 meetings, that's 34, almost 35 hours per meeting. So that's what I'm trying to get at. You're doing dips for dozers, like what is your scope of things that you're actually filming?
A lot of it, it's mainly stuff that's local to Cambridge and Oakland, or things are specially requested, like those Enbridge meetings were special requested. I know the school board candidate forums were special requests at some point.
Yeah, that was included. I had that last year, the 2 Enbridge meetings.
Yes.
So I'm just trying to understand how much time this
So do you always, you just track your time, correct? She doesn't get any benefits at all.
Okay.
There are
Yeah,
no
I have
ben-
I have time sheets for like 2-week pay period that I
Right.
track my times down to like the 15-minute mark.
Yeah, I'm just trying to understand
Right.
what you do with your time.
And are
That's
there
all I'm
some
asking.
times where you don't go 30 hours?
Sometimes it's less.
Right.
Okay.
Like I've
So-
been hitting more the 20 to 25 range, at least for the moment. But
So,
I'm doing my best with.
I want to understand, Joy. This is an appropriate question to be asking what she does with her time.
Yeah.
it's not,
I'm just asking.
we've already used the 20. Okay,
That's
go ahead. I'm sorry.
We have an update. Typically, in an update, we ask questions. This is something that's been going on a long time. An annual update per this ordinance should be done every year. It hasn't been. So there are a lot of questions, more than typical, because we need to try to understand it.
Okay,
That's all. There's nothing wrong with me asking questions.
go ahead.
So, Michael, could you explain to us here these 2 reference points of pursuant to any cable television ordinance in accordance with the agreement and ordinance pertaining thereto? Does this refer back to other ordinance? I think this is what Wendy was getting at when she was speaking about an ordinance. Is there something that we need to have?
Yeah, I would expect you to have a cable television or video service ordinance in place. Every municipality has that in place. Usually it's a pretty large, substantial ordinance. The way the Cambridge one reads, if I had, I'm just making a guess, okay? Back when I explained all this history here, but I would have expected there probably at some point in time, or it may have been a handshake agreement, but I would have expected an IGA to have been in place for this joint commission. I would have expected both municipalities to pretty much adopt identical ordinances, and then that IGA would govern, frankly, how the commission itself would operate, what it was intending to do as far as having video service. I mean, you got to think too, cable's been around for, obviously now, what feels like a long time, but reality was that it really didn't hit a mainstream until probably the 90s and into the 2000s, especially in more rural areas too. So this thing was probably built to be a little bit more flexible at the time. For whatever reason, though, I don't see an IGA. I see a Cambridge ordinance only, and then this commission that was created.
Can we have to get together with the Village of Cambridge to redo our intergovernmental agreement. At that time, can we talk about an intergovernmental agreement with the Cable Commission?
Potentially, yes. However, I would recommend probably that they're separate things, because this, just judging by the conversation here today, I feel like is very much a complicated issue that has to have a lot of questions answered and everybody get on the same page. And I feel like you all have what seems to be kind of some differing opinions just amongst yourselves, which is great. But I would imagine if we had the Village of Cambridge board here too, they'd have their share of opinions as well. And
we have to take into consideration that their office is in the Amundsen Center, and the Village of Cambridge allows them to have their office there. So you have to consider that, as well as consider that the bookwork is all done by the village.
Well, that was a question I had. Do they include, and it's fine if they do, it's a question. So the Village of Cambridge treasurer keeps the books for this and writes the checks.
Correct.
Do they charge their time to this? I mean, I would assume that it would be appropriate to do so, but I'm just asking that question.
I don't know.
Okay. So if this is called an advisory commission,
It's not,
it is called an advisory commission, what would the
Village
role
of
of,
Cambridge, it's called the Cable Commission.
the ordinance is called Cable Television Advisory Commission.
Okay.
So would this, it doesn't speak about the town and the village in here. Is that something that, like Jimmy was asking about with the budget, that they would have to come back to the village and the town to approval, for approval of annual budgets and things like that?
As far as I was told, the Cable Commission is a separate entity. Because of the hours, we would have to allow them to be on Wisconsin retirement, but since they're a separate entity, we don't have to do that.
Well, the fire commission was a separate entity who had employees, and their budgets did come back to us for approval. So I'm trying to understand. I'm just asking questions to try to understand what it is.
Okay. I don't know.
Okay.
there is one of keep in mind, this is a Village of Cambridge ordinance. We're not bound by Village of Cambridge ordinances, okay? I would have thought maybe there was a town ordinance that's similar to this somewhere, but doesn't sound like it ever existed. One of the provisions in the ordinance says that the commission can receive and disperse any and all monies, including any franchise fees, in accordance with the agreement and ordinances pertaining thereto. To me, that goes back to my original thought that if there was an IGA or if there was an ordinance that existed, that would be what governs the disbursement of franchise fees. And frankly, there's a scenario too where maybe the town of Oakland has its own ordinance and the Village of Cambridge has a slightly different one. Joy, you mentioned it earlier, that it's how everybody or every cable company does it. They pay checks to the municipalities based on their subscribers in that particular municipality. That's why there's 2 checks to come in. It's very well possible that we could restrict the commission to use funds for only certain items that relate to town business, for example. That your ordinance could say that, whereas the Village of Cambridge could say, no, we want to have it do anything that, give the commission, full autonomy as to how they use franchise fees that have come in from the Village of Cambridge. I mean, there's that level of flexibility that can occur. Frankly, it all comes back down, though, to your guys' regulation, because ultimately the franchise fee is what you're entitled to by law to begin with. What you do with the franchise fee is entirely your call, and that includes dispersing it out to anybody you want or retaining it for general purposes as well.
So
We're at,
all that being said, Michael, in regards to Joy's motion, is it in the best interest of Oakland Township, without a bylaws, without an agreement, intermental agreement, and without a yearly budget, to move forward and make payments?
we've used this.
That's my question to Michael.
But we have used
Hold on,
this
that's my question to Michael,
services.
please.
Unfortunately, I'm going to deflect a little bit on that answer because that's ultimately your call on what you want to do with your franchise fees.
Okay, so it's totally up to the board on which way they want to go. There's nothing,
I believe absolutely you have complete control over what you want to do with your franchise fee.
okay.
Absent an ordinance that would say something to the contrary, and right now you're not bound by any ordinance because we have not found any ordinance that exists.
So if there's a shortfall in the commission's financing, are we liable in any way?
Right now, no. Absent any kind of agreement that you would have had with the Village of Cambridge, again, we don't have any agreement
Okay.
that exists.
And it's all been on a gentleman's agreement up until this point, the way it looks.
That's what I'm gathering.
And so we have no right to their excess either. Their excess funds that they have, we have no right to those either.
I will
So,
put an asterisk to that. Those funds were, I'm not going to forego any
see, now
kind
we're
of-
getting back into the commission things.
Yeah,
where-
but I'm
where
also
it's
not
got a
gonna-
bad name because it's got a commission.
Yeah,
title.
yep, it's got a commission title, and
And-
frankly, it sounds like the Village of Cambridge is the
But-
one who seems to be the account signer on wherever these monies are. I'm not saying that we wouldn't have potentially a claim against the Village of Cambridge to carve those monies back. That's a whole different conversation, though, and I'd much rather try to resolve that amicably than,
Right.
and the Village of Cambridge might say, sure,
I'll say
it's
it.
your money, yeah.
But what about our constituents that use this service? It's just the same as, it's not costing the town of Oakland a dime. We get the franchise fee from Charter because it comes out of my check that I paid at Charter. Probably, if you look at your Charter bill, there's probably franchise fees that come out of there. Doesn't cost the town of Oakland a dime to be able to provide our constituents with this service.
But it does cost us in the fact that if the town of Oakland can do it cheaper, those extra dollars can be put into general fund and can
And
be used to
where
get.
are you going to get it cheaper?
My church during COVID filmed it themselves and posted it both
Okay,
to a
and-
Facebook page and to their own website. And you can bet my church does not have a big, huge
I
budget.
know, but they have volunteers that do that.
They had one lady who set up the camera.
Okay, and who's
Before-
going to do that?
We do that.
I can't get
I
help
can
putting these
set
things up
a
here.
camera and a computer before
gotta
the
get to
meeting
next
happens
thing,
and
too.
Yeah.
We
hit
are
the
delinquent
switch.
bills here.
I can't get help setting up this
You've
here.
never asked.
If
You
that's-
should
I have
not.
asked all
You have
these
not
board
asked
members, and
me.
they all walk out the door after the meeting.
If that's something we want to do, we need to discuss it. If we want to,
Right,
not on
but
the
right
agenda.
now,
But I'm
I'm
simply-
concerned with
But I'm
having,
simply saying, it does cost us in the fact that that extra money could be given to other projects in the town of Oakland, which would help bring tax bills down or keep them where they're at.
$6,000.
It's
a quarter?
30,000 over the year. You could probably buy the equipment you need to do
No,
the video. Yeah, you could probably.
7,000 times 4
It's-
is
Yes,
not
28, almost 30. I'm
Well-
just rounding it. That's all.
I would go down.
Okay, well, say 25,000. If we can spend $1,000 to buy the equipment that we need to do the video, that's 24,000 a year that could be put to other things. So there is an opportunity
did it.
cost there.
But then you're
of saving.
cutting off the nursing homes that look at the cable channel.
My grandmother was in the nursing home and they had Wi-Fi access there, which
we're
means they
off
could go
track
out.
here. We're going to,
Okay, let's just,
we got to decide, talk about this
I think we should
another time.
work on my motion. It's been seconded. It's for services that we've already received. I can't understand why we can't
It's supposed to be here for that.
pass that motion to get those 2025 checks paid. Then we will work on a budget. I'll call another commission meeting. And we need to have a meeting with the Village of Cambridge to do an IGA, to get that set up.
I hate to say
And if
it,
we don't
but
want to, we don't want to. That's part of the, that's part of the board's decision. But right now, we've got this motion in place.
Right, and it's for services that we have already received.
potential.
Let's clarify, I just want to clarify, you're dispersing the franchise fee that you received, correct? from
We
the-
have already,
Correct. Okay.
it's been held since, the third quarter for
not-
2025 has
yes.
been held since November, and we just received the fourth quarter for
yeah, but the
2025.
franchise fee is what's paid by the cable company. You're taking that amount of money and you're dispersing it back out. You're not receiving any services equivalent to that value in exchange for.
No.
You're paying it to the commission. The commission is then dealing with any expenses
Sure.
that are occurred.
The commission
Sure.
has already
Okay.
paid the payroll for all of 2025.
Mhm.
They've paid all the expenses.
Yes, but he's asking whether the amounts we're giving are equal to the expenses that were paid, and they're not.
I think I'm going to make an amendment to the motion. So my amendment will be that we
Can you amend the
we
motion before?
do not pay any additional fees until we sort the rest of this out.
Can you amend the motion?
Yes.
All right, so he can amend, here we go down Robert's rules. If he wants to amend that motion, that is fine. He's going to have to get a second to that, and then we're going to have to vote on whether or not the motion has been in fact amended. If the motion has been amended, then we need to vote on the actual amended motion.
Yes.
Yep.
Please say your amendment again.
That we don't pay any additional funding to this commission until we figure
Additional
out.
meaning,
This is my motion, please.
I'm
No, no.
understanding your
I'm
motion.
trying
Trying
to
to get
repeat it.
clarification. Clarification, are you going to be up to date on them, and then from now
Yes,
forward?
so my motion is to
Pay those,
take care of what we have on the table,
Our
and no
delinquent bill.
additional fees are
Okay.
paid until we have this ironed out.
No
okay.
additional after what we've already received.
Correct, that's my you have the motion to pay. My amendment is to not pay any more until we
Yeah.
have this figured out.
After the 2025 payments have been made.
Yes,
We-
that's what he's saying.
Yes.
Okay, I'm just trying to understand his motion.
And I want to be abundantly clear. Basically, the effect you want of this amended motion is that the monies that Joy has moved to have dispersed out, you are okay with them being dispersed, but after that, no further disbursements of franchise fees until we have
Clarification.
a better understanding.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay, I will second that motion. Okay,
Call for the vote.
all in favor of the amendment, say aye.
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 Opposed?
Okay, so just to clarify here, just a point of order. You voted on amending the motion, all right? Now we need to vote on.
The amended motion.
Yes. Mhm.
Okay.
So,
Okay, all in favor of the amended motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Okay. The amended motion, which means the 2025 third and fourth quarter checks
Need to be
are
paid.
to be paid to the Cable Commission.
and then nothing.
And
then
then
nothing further.
nothing
That's
further
what
until we
Jimmy
get
said.
more.
That's what Jimmy said.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Aye.
Okay.
Who made the motion for that and then seconded? I got the first
Jimmy.
one.
Jimmy and Laura.
made the amended, and then you seconded, and then on this
We
one?
voted, and then we just voted on. We
Oh,
just-
and
we
then you
didn't
just voted
vote.
on
We
it.
just had a
Okay.
vote. We didn't
Okay.
have to do
Okay.
another motion.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
For purposes of the record, you
Approval
could
of
honestly treat it as
disbursements.
Joy's
Yeah,
underlying motion
Yeah,
was
I like that.
amended and then adopted. And whoever seconded,
Tom.
yeah, then Tom can be the second, yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
all right.
On to
Let me find my-
disbursements,
Okay,
I think.
yes, approval of disbursements. There's somewhere,
I'll make a motion that we approve disbursements beginning with ACH on 1/23/2006 through and including check number, I believe, 1936 to the Wisconsin Town Association in the aggregate amount of $4,008,664.22.
Again, it's so high because of the tax
I will
disbursements from the
second
second
that.
half,
okay,
the second settlement.
okay. David second the motion.
Okay.
Okay, any questions? Okay, hearing none. All in favor of disbursements, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, we will disperse. Okay, we'll move on to announcements. Do you have any announcements?
Second half of the tax disbursements is done. Everything now goes through the county. If anyone comes in to pay, it's considered late. They will handle it there. First election went down. Granted, we only had 3 voters. But it was a good
7
learning
poll workers and
experience.
3 voters.
My 2 chief inspectors were new to using the equipment, and I, of course, was, and Laura, we had a new piece, so she was learning too.
Few people in
So that all
like
worked out
those.
very well for
There's
us.
only
And
30
I think
eligible.
we've got over 100
10%
absentee ballot
showed up.
requests in already for April.
Good.
So I think it's going to be busy.
Okay.
Good.
Excellent. Any further announcements?
I think that's all I have right now.
Okay, we'll move on then to correspondence. Do we have any correspondence?
I do not have any correspondence.
Okay.
I did email all of you guys the thing from WTA if you're interested in, it's like a series of workshops about solar farms and that kind of thing. So there is no cost to it. You're welcome to go or not go. I mean, it's all virtual if you want
Oh,
to,
it's
but
virtual.
if you want to get some additional information about solar farms and how that all works, it might be worthwhile to look at a session or two.
Great, thank you. That'll be good for all the town. We have one,
Well,
but
that's
it's
what I'm
very good
thinking
information
after
for the towns.
information last time from,
Yeah.
Yeah,
from them.
Yeah, it's good for towns who, particularly who may have some coming in soon and what they can do. So I think that's all great for the WTA to do.
I have one, I should thank Melissa for coming and thank the Village of Cambridge for allowing the recording to be here tonight. It is actually the Village of Cambridge time to be recorded, but we moved our meeting
Yeah, we had to
But-
because of the election.
And
at the Cable Commission meeting. They decided that it would be beneficial for our constituents to find out what's going on with the town of Oakland.
okay.
They allowed it, the recording here.
So that actually brings me to a question I had wanted to ask, and I didn't get a chance to ask. Where can we find the videos of the Cable Commission meetings?
It wasn't recorded.
Are you talking about the YouTube channel that they get posted to?
Yeah, did you film your Cable Commission meetings in February and January?
No, we did
No,
not.
those are not recorded. As far as I'm aware, the only form of recording that's done with it is Chris Brunig.
He has a
it
voice
as well,
recording.
Hmm.
Do
Okay.
you,
as far as I'm
we
aware.
can ask them to be recorded?
No, I don't know why you wouldn't. They're governmental meetings, so
Okay.
it would be good information. Then people could watch that and get a better understanding, including members of this board.
Another meeting.
Okay. All right. So we'll move on then. We have our future agenda items. We will be discussing this, Jimmy, as you have requested, and
So are we going to request a meeting with the Village of Cambridge for an IGA then?
I think we will need to discuss more among ourselves first and get a better handle on things. And
I think probably deciding what you guys want to do and what your ultimate goals are. I do think there's a route where you probably can save money and not have to be involved with a commission, just frankly control it yourselves and have it as a budget item, as part of your town budget. And contracting with, I keep forgetting the guy's name, Gary and Melissa, perhaps directly, and
And
accomplish.
what? Contract with them directly?
Yes, and accomplish both goals. One, put things on YouTube, and two, if you want to have certain meetings, get showing up on cable television, you can do that, and then you can evaluate that, what that cost would be. And then you have the franchise fees that could offset that. And in an ideal world too, there's a difference in money left over as well.
And just for current record, Gary is still on vacation. He will not be back till April,
okay.
end of April.
And maybe it's just Melissa too, someone to run the meeting, if you want someone outside to run the recordings. I think that's probably your most viable and compromising option at this point in time.
We'll have to go over all options, and we'll put that on
So
the
are we
future.
talking about not having our meetings recorded now until we get all this settled?
No, meetings can still be
But we're
recorded
not
as is.
paying for them after the 2025 payments.
you're not paying your franchise fees. As far as the costs go, that's something that's going to have to be evaluated by, at this point in time, sounds like the controller of that account and whatever monies were left in it.
Well, there is quite a bit of reserve. So we have paid, and until those reserves are gone, we have paid our share.
But according to what you just said, we're going to run out of money.
Yeah, but not yet.
Yeah.
As of now, you haven't.
Okay.
So we will have to discuss that further.
Future agenda items?
Yes.
Can we have public discussion at the end of our meeting? I know it'll make it go long, but we got a lot of intelligent people out there with good ideas that we don't listen to until we get them so mad that they gotta wait a whole month to come back to scream at us.
If that's something that you want to have.
I would like to see it. Put public comment up here, and public comment almost the last thing we do.
It's your guys' call ultimately as a collective board if that's how you want your agenda to be set. I'll be honest, I've seen it an array of ways. I've seen none of it, no public comment.
Yeah.
I've seen public comment at the top, I've seen it at the
Well,
bottom.
we definitely need to have public comment.
I mean, it
When
can get out of hand, I understand that, but
You can-
to not listen to the public is
You can also-
ridiculous.
Well, during a meeting, we do not have public comment
Understood.
during the meeting.
That's understood. We don't want to interrupt up here in it, but that's why I'd like to have it down here before you close.
Yeah, I don't have a problem. When we have it, we got to put a time limit on it.
Yeah,
If
we
we're
will
gonna
put
have
a time
public comment
limit on it.
twice in a meeting, we
Yeah.
got to have a,
What?
3
The
minutes,
village-
and public comment is not a Q&A. So he can make a comment, but it's not a Q&A.
Right.
So it may not serve the purpose.
Okay.
Okay, so just to be clear, is it the intention that you want it to be on the agenda twice? One at the top and one at the
I
bottom?
just want it to be after people have heard what we're discussed this month,
That's fine.
because otherwise they've gone home mad.
Yeah.
And if they're coming back, they're sitting on that a whole month stewing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now it's a ridiculous
Yeah.
argument.
But it can't be a question. It
So
cannot.
setting it up like right before where we do future agenda items potentially at the end?
That'd be perfect.
Okay, all right.
And I strongly would recommend in putting parentheses on each time for public comment.
Time limit.
Yeah, 3 minutes max.
Yes.
Or
Yes.
So we could add that.
You
to-
can look at what the Village of Cambridge does.
We could add that to the agenda easily enough if you want to make it 3 minutes, just public comment and then. in
Yeah, we've done that in the
parentheses,
past.
3-minute
Yeah.
limit.
Yes.
Limit it to 3 minutes per person. That's
so we don't need to have it twice. You just want to have it at the bottom.
Yeah,
Well,
I'd
we
just like
can-
to have it at the end.
We don't need it twice.
I used to come in
Well,
and
it
sit out
needs to be
there.
at the
and then
beginning.
I-
Yes,
Because it
I
needs to be
think
at
so
the
too.
beginning, because that's when they're talking, they are going to see whatever our agenda item is, and they're coming to,
We've got some people nodding heads out here, maybe.
so it needs, you're saying
Right.
two. But
The
again,
Village does twice.
Then set the time limit, whatever.
3 minutes, I think, is
What,
good.
Melissa?
If I can know for a second, Village of Cambridge, the board meeting that they have tonight, just to note where the public comments are noted. The first public comment at the beginning is after proof of posting. The public comment they have towards the end is after future agenda items, but before their closed session,
Okay,
just as an
a good
example.
idea.
Thank you.
all right, all right.
So
But-
we'll look at where,
Yeah, but definitely, public comment is meant for comments only.
Well, and only one person, typically the chair, responds to public comment at all, if at all.
Right.
It's not a debate with us and the public comment, because then it's an agenda item and then,
Yeah.
or it's not an agenda item, right? And then we're violating the open records laws.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Because it's not, somebody wanted a question, and that's when it gets dicey, when we start going back and forth. So, okay,
One is not always used, but people have appreciated it being
Okay.
there.
all right, so we'll put that on there.
so
So,
and then maybe a timer.
and a timer, yes, we can do that. All right, so we have that on there. We'll put that on there next month, and then our next meeting date is March 17th.
It is?
St. Patty's Day?
All right,
Yes.
greet and beer.
better have the green beer here.
Sorry, I'm not bringing green beer. Cupcakes I can handle. I don't want green beer.
So we're going to move on to, into closed section. I will make a motion to convene into closed session pursuant to Wisconsin statutes 19.85, parent 1, parent E, deliberating or negotiating the purchasing of public properties, the investing of public funds, or conducting other specified public business whenever competitive or bargaining reasons require closed session. Intergovernmental agreement with Village of Cambridge. Okay, roll call vote.
Supervisor Drews,
Yes,
Supervisor Jensen,
both sides.
Chair Payne.
Yes.
Asking your
Supervisor
opinion about
Graffin.
going into closed session.